Hey, I'm Corwin, and today we're doing a bunch of random shit on the Cadillac. There's a car show tomorrow night. Not sure if I'll be able to make it, but if I want to have any chance of getting there, there's a bunch of small stuff I need to get done. So this episode's going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to try to knock all these out kind of one at a time, and then hopefully at some point we'll drive the car down the road. We'll see. So first thing I want to do, just because it's top of mind, is finish off this cooling system. I think what I'm going to do is try to flush this radiator out really good. So I'm going to probably pull both the top and the bottom down there. Hose is off. Run the hose back through here and just see if I can't flush this thing out. This water is pretty gross, and I think that's might be part of the problem. Okay, so the water's still coming out gross, no matter how much I flush it. So I'm really worried that, I did this side, I did the driver's side freeze plug. I'm really worried that maybe, although it wasn't leaking, I have the same issue on the other side. And since I already have all this stuff out, and I just did it, I feel reasonably confident. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the one on the other side and the plug and just check, and then if there's nothing there, then I'll at least have peace of mind, and if there is, then I can get it out. So I'm gonna try that. It's about the only other thing I can think, unless the water pump is just full of crap, but it's pumping, so it's still working. Alright, well, it's never easy. Had to drop the exhaust out the back, which is fine, but plenty of room now to get to this. I also had to take the starter off. Again, all easy stuff to get off and on, but not a lot of fun. Sometimes I hate being right. Okay, watch this. Puke. Oh. Oh, it's nasty. Oh boy. I think I have a glorious opportunity here with the exhaust off to fix my clearance problem for that idler arm. So I'm gonna smack the shit out of it. Okay, so exhaust is back on. Went and got a new gasket from my boys over at AutoZone. It's attached up at the collector, and then in the back, he had rigged up some brackets kind of in the middle of the car to hang the mufflers, which are good, except that he had run some longer bolts through the seats that he had put in there, and when I swapped the bench back in, I lost the length on those bolts. So I'll figure something out for that, but for now, I think it's been long enough. It's been about a day. I can put coolant back in the motor, so I really want to get that done. Okay, that went well. I don't want to run it for too long because I got a lot of other stuff that I want to do today, and I don't want all this to get super hot, but got all of the air out of the system, I think. Should be good to go. The coolant actually looks okay, so fingers crossed. Next on the list is this guy. This is a rag joint, okay? Basically the steering box connects to this piece. You see it's got teeth here in the middle, clamps on with this bolt, and then these two go through here like this, bolt on, and then coming from this actual steering column, it bolts on here. So the steering column in this car was swapped out, and in doing so, this was created. But basically what this does is it comes over here and bolts to this piece, right? So it connects the rag joint to the new steering column. Obviously it's been working, but this is not a good look. So I'm gonna take this over to the grinder. Really, actually, that looks kind of suggestive. I'm gonna take this over to the grinder, clean this up, probably strip all the paint off, get the welder out, really make sure these are good solid welds, take it back down, shoot it with a can of paint, and then I can finally get the steering back in the car. Okay, so pretty much feeling and looking like death because it's like 100 degrees out here, but the steering is hooked up. All of that is good to go. So hopefully I can check that off of the list. Real quick, I needed to remove this guy, the dipstick, that's what it's called. So I need to get that back in there before I run the motor too much more. Dipstick back in. Next thing I want to do, the next easiest thing to do is this. So a long time ago I got these door seals, but they were back ordered, so they just got here. So I'm just gonna, I mean this is easy stuff, I'll just throw these on real quick, hopefully cut down on some noise. So hopefully they fit, because I guess these are the last ones in existence in the continental United States. Okay, well somehow that was way worse than I thought it would be. My fingers are killing me from trying to push those little damn plastic things into their little 60-year-old holes. It's awful. The next thing I want to do I need a vacuum port to 100% make sure that I'm tuning this carburetor correctly and making sure I'm getting the most amount of vacuum. You know, carburetors are carburetors, so I just want to be sure I'm getting a quantitative value as I'm adjusting the idle valves. So one of the things, well, let me show you. Okay, well, you still can't really see it, but this is a heater hose, but that big vacuum line behind it, that goes to the valve I'm talking about on the intake manifold, and then it runs off over here to the brake booster, like I thought. Okay, so I got some stuff from Home Depot to replace that with, so it's got a barb on either end. Okay, so this is my idea, and it will work. I just need to take this piece with me to Home Depot and make sure I get the right fittings, but currently, this guy screws into the manifold and then it runs off to the brake booster, which is fine. You want a vacuum source for the brake booster by itself. What I want to do is tee it off so that when I am adjusting the idle, I can hook up to right here. And then typically, you know, when I'm just running the car, I'll cap this off and this will run to the brake booster. So I just need to take this guy, run up to Home Depot and make sure I've got, because this one is obviously much bigger than what I got. This guy's perfect, and then I want to match the threads here. I thought it was 3/8 MPT, but this is a lot bigger, so I'm just gonna triple check, and these parts are cheap, so. I felt like I was doing really good today, knocking stuff out, getting stuff done, and look at that. Man, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna buy one. They make these, they sell them on Summit. It's like, they're like 20 bucks, but I really wanted to get as much done today as I could, and I knew that I could buy this brass stuff at Home Depot, so I tried. So I'll put that on the back burner, but there are a couple of more things on these vacuum lines that I want to get done regardless of that. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So one thing I did realize is that I'm a massive idiot. I was reading this as it needed full manifold vacuum, but no, this is a full manifold vacuum source. So I should be able to just move the timed spark over to where it's supposed to be, but honestly it probably doesn't matter. But I'm gonna move it over just for peace of mind, and then I should be able to use this port for tuning. So I guess I'll do that real quick. Okay, well, I feel like I've been out here working all day and I really haven't crossed anything off the list, so. There is one thing, this fuel line. I guess I can do that, that's easy. So I hung this fuel line using the existing mounting points for the hard line, and just over time this stuff just sagged. So I've got some self tappers and some more P-clips. I'm just gonna go down here and just fix this all the way down the frame. Not sure if you'll be able to see it, but I got some pretty sick metal flake in my beard coming off that frame. Idiot. But it's fixed. I just need to zip tie the wire for the fuel pump going to the back, and then hopefully one more thing. Okay, so this relay is for the fuel pump. I've got an oil pressure gauge, and what it on the other side of the gauge is just, you know, a sensor wire that comes from over there, over here, and triggers the fuel pump at 5 pounds of oil pressure. That way, if something happens to the car and it shuts off, the fuel pump's not sitting there pumping fuel up here and catch fire and all that stuff. So this wire goes back to the fuel pump. So what he did on this Cadillac is he shaved everything off. So you can see it looks really clean here on the back. And he installed a button to open the trunk. So that's fine. That worked fine before when the fuel pump was rigged off the key. But now that the fuel pump is rigged off of oil pressure, it means that I can't open the trunk unless the engine is running. And so it made sense before, but after I put that sensor in, it just doesn't make any sense. So I need to run another wire that's triggered off the key back to the back for the trunk. I'll find a source and just run a wire. It doesn't need much. Okay, now, assuming I did that right, let me turn the key on, and if we go back here and hit the button, okay, I found a new keyed source. So now if I lock this guy, cool. I think I might call it for the day. I lied. One more thing. Okay, so that should be most of the weather stripping now done on the car. I mean, there's a lot of old rubber on this beast, but that should take care of the majority of it. I got most everything on the list checked off. I still need to check a couple of small things, like the front speakers don't want to work. And then the air conditioning obviously is the biggest ticket item. And then we'll see if that transmission leak comes back. And obviously I want to get some new spark plugs just because these are old and it's been running on a mediocre tune for a while now. So other than that, I think it's ready to roll. Until next time.